Well, if you take a look at our backgrounds, you pretty quickly realize that we couldn't be any more different. We're really from worlds apart. And I think that diversity is really what makes the work what it is. Jenny grew up in Taipei, 7,000 miles away from where I grew up in Kansas.
And I remember my family being developers, spent a lot of time at their job sites. So I used to kind of play with the concrete and just draw stacks and stacks of things. And they would range from, people to buildings to anything I can think of.
As a kid, my dad was into motorcycles. And my mom still has these little wood things that I used to make that were essentially carvings of my dad's motorcycles. But I was working with anything I could. And it wasn't until my love of drawing and an obsession for making things converged that I realized that there was a field for me.
I'm one of those few people that decided that I, at age of 7 wanted to be an architect and actually became one. When we first met at Harvard, I think we were pretty different designers. We were having troubles actually figuring out how to work together. Dwayne is the type that he thinks through his hands, and through the making of either a model or drawing is coming up with these amazing ideas.
One of the amazing things about Jenny is this incredible optimism and openness that I think keeps the work fresh and keeps it moving forward with each new project.
While we were really different, there was also some similarities in things that really interest us. One of the things that really interest us were our obsession with lines, and especially how lines can start to formulate in space. I've been doing these drawings for roughly 15, 20 years that are really nothing more than doodles, for lack of a better term. And they don't have a consistency in terms of the shapes that are being drawn, but they are consistent in the sense that they always study this dense buildup of lines in space. I think part of it is seeing that it's playing out in bigger and bigger ways with every project, and so they start to take on more meaning as work accumulates around them and starts to demonstrate that they're more than just lines on a page. Well, we came to LA about 8 years ago, and since we've gotten here, has essentially been a back and forth between very small, experimental, hands-on projects and large projects, often that haven't been in LA. And we've really used the time to try to experiment with ideas in a way that allows us to test material ideas, issues of density within space that can be touched and felt. Function, structure, materiality, scalability, the context of the city that it has to exist within, and basic waterproofing. Waterproofing. We're essentially thinking about how to make very small ideas that we can literally test come to fruition in the most successful way in larger projects. So in the past 3 years, we are starting to get larger commissions around the world in Europe and Asia. And I wanted to do something in Taipei because I really felt like that was a very untapped market. And a few years later, we're really excited to actually be able to do something there. It's kind of an undiscovered place, at least to tourists. I actually attended the elementary school that's right next to the job site. Taking the bus from there and walking home from there, and it was the first few years of my life. So I am really excited to be able to basically return to a place that was really special to me.
The thing that I've most noticed about Taipei that knocks me over every time I go there is the incredible energy that seems to exist on every street corner there. And it was really important to us that we design a building that reflected that.
So when our client Judd asked us to design a 16-story tower, it was really a challenge to decide what it is that we want to showcase.
And we were interested in looking at ways that line work gets carried up to the building, as though it's a kind of framework through which each of the balconies and windows get layered on top of one another and ultimately meander up the facades.
And another thing which we were noticing about the city of Taipei was that most of the housing buildings looks exactly the same. And we took it upon ourselves to take the challenge of how to create variability within about 5 feet of depth in the balcony area as well as the skin to create something that's unique, that embodies some of the lines.
And on one hand, you want to capture the content of the city. You want it to be dynamic and active and have a sense of that energy. On the other hand, it ups the pressure. It means that you have to do something that somehow is worthy of being a part of this significant city.
What I'm really excited about is the kind of future of our practice and that we can expand the research in the line work, not just in the small scale installation, but now really in the large scale, larger buildings.
And finally, we're designing a very large building that's going to get built.
So this is one of our most exciting moments, and I feel like I want to contribute to the city in a significant way. I want it to be something that's new, not just for Taipei or Taiwan, but actually design something that's a landmark.